Hello, class. We're about to start lesson 2 from chapter 1. Lesson 2 says whole number operations. Now we have addition and subtraction. Now, what we're going to do as the main theme for this lesson is go over how to properly add and subtract, basically using the place value that we learned in the first lesson. So we need to line the numbers up according to their place value, and then we will add or subtract. So let's get started. What we're going to do, we're going to go right into the problems here. So we could start lining these problems up properly. So we look here at number 1. Number 1, we have 54 plus 23. So we want to make sure that we line these up according to the ones place and the tens place. So we have two-digit numbers and we line this up perfectly. So then when we start adding, we start at the ones place and move our way up to the higher place values to the left. So we have 4 plus 3 is 7 and 5 plus 2 is also 7. So our first answer here is 77. So now we go on to problem number 2. Problem number 2 is also another two-digit number. So we have 46 plus 54. So now with 46 plus 54, we add the ones place. 6 plus 4 is 10. Have our 0, carry our 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10. So now we have 100. Okay, now we move on to problem number 3. Now, if you look here at problem number 3, we're dealing with subtraction. So with subtraction, we still have two-digit numbers. So we have our tens place and our ones place, minus our tens place and our ones place. So now we subtract. Start again with our ones place. 3 minus 1 is 2, and 7 minus 2 is 5. Now we go on to problem number 4. Now problem number 4 is the same thing, two-digit numbers subtracting from each other. So we make sure that we have these properly lined up. So now, this problem here is a little different because we cannot subtract 9 from 5. So that's when we have to get into borrowing. So we go to the next highest place value to the left of the place value we need to borrow 4. So we will borrow 1 from the 5 and make that 4. And then since we borrow from this place value, remember place values are different by tens. So when we borrow 1 from here, that means that we're going to add 10 to the lower place value. So 10 plus 5 is 15. So now we will have 15 minus 9 is 6, and 4 minus 1 is 3. Now we move on to problem number 5. Problem number 5. Now, with problem number 5, we start something a little different here because we have a three-digit number plus a two-digit number. So we will write the three-digit number down first. And with our two-digit number, again, we must line up the ones place and also the tens place. So now we have 105 plus 85. Now, since they are perfectly aligned, we can add. 5 plus 5 is 10. Bring down your 0, carry your 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 8 is 9. And then 1 plus, you notice we don't have a number here in the 100 place value with this 85, but it's assumed to be a 0 there. So it's 1 plus 0, which would give us 190. Okay, now we move to problem number 6. Problem number 6, we have 2,386 plus 1,692. Again, we must perfectly align the place values of these numbers, of these digits, and then we can add. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. Bring down your 7, carry your 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 6 is 10. Bring down your 0, carry your 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So our final answer here is 4,078. Now we go here to problem number 7. Problem number 7, we have 100 minus 57. Again, we must perfectly line up these numbers so we can subtract. So now we look here, we cannot subtract 7 from 0. But here's a problem. Unlike problem number 4, where we were able to go to the immediate left to borrow, we can't do that here because we can't borrow from 0. So we have to go to the first number to the left that's not 0. So that'll be 1. So we borrow 1 from this 1, that's 0. So the 10 that we add would be to this place value here. So that would be 10. Now again, we wanted to borrow from this place value initially for the ones place. So that 10 becomes a 9. And then this 0 becomes 10. Now we can subtract. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 5 is 4. And we know 0 minus 0 is just 0. So this is just 43. Now we come to problem number 8. We have 2,500. And then we will subtract 383. Now again, we run into the same situation. We cannot subtract 3 from 0, but we can't borrow from the tens place, so we have to go here to the hundreds place. So we'll borrow 1 would make that 4. This 0 would become 10, but we have to borrow 1 from that. And so that becomes 9, and this last 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 8 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. And 2 minus 0 is 2. So we had 2,117. Okay, now for section B, for problems 9 through 20. I do like these problems because you really have to show that you know your place value with these problems because you actually have to set them up. See, with problems 1 through 8, they were already set up. If you wrote them exactly how you saw them, you were fine. But in problems 9 through 20, you actually have to do the setting up of the problem. So with problem number 9, if you notice, we have 3 numbers that are added together. Now, whenever you have addition with 3 numbers, you have to line those numbers up. And fortunately here, all of these numbers are 2-digit numbers. So you have 20, you have 12, and you have 33. Now, if you notice, I only put the addition sign with the last number. And we have these perfectly lined up. So now we will add 0 plus 2 is 2, plus 3 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 is 6. So that's 65. Now we go to problem number 10. Now problem number 10 is a subtraction problem. Good. So we would take 245, and since both of these are 3-digit numbers, should be easy to align them up since they have the same amount of numbers, same amount of digits, I should say. So now we can subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. And 2 minus 1 is 1. 114. All right, so now move on to problem 11. Problem 11, we still have 3 2-digit numbers. So we will line them up. We have 30, 75, and 75. So now that we have these perfectly lined up, we will add them up. 0 plus 5 is 5, plus 5 is 10. That's 0, carry our 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 7 is 11, plus 7 is 18. So that will give us 180. Now problem 12. Now if you look at problem 12, we have a 3-digit number, which is 378, minus a 2-digit number. So we have to line up the ones and also the tens place. So we have 378 minus 85. 8 minus 5 is 3. We cannot subtract 8 from 7, so we will borrow 1 from this 3 and make it 2. And this 7 will become 17. 17 minus 8 is 9. And then 2 minus 0 is 2. 293. So now we go to problem 13. Problem 13, if you notice here, we have three-digit numbers that we have to add. So we will line these up, 144, 238, plus 101. Now when we add these up, we have 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 1 is 13, carry a 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 3 is 8, plus 0 is 8. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So that's 483. So now we go to problem 14. Now with problem 14, we have a three-digit number, which is 545, minus a two-digit number, which is 89. Make sure that they're perfectly aligned. We cannot subtract 9 from 5, so we borrow 1 from this 4, which would be 3, and this 5 will become 15. 15 minus 9 is 6. Now we come here, we cannot subtract 8 from 3, so we have to borrow 1 from 5, which will make it 4, and this 3 will become 13. So 13 minus 8 is 5, and 4 minus 0 is 4. So it's 456. Now we go to problem 15. We have a four-digit number plus a three-digit number. The four-digit number is 2095, plus the three-digit number is 324. So we have to make sure that these values align, these place values align, which they do. And then we can add. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry a 1. 3 plus 0, well, 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 3 is 4. And then 2 plus 0 is 2. So that would be 2,419. Okay, now we move on to problem 16. Problem 16, we have a three-digit number, four-digit number, which is 1,250, minus a three-digit number, which is 350. So we have 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. We cannot subtract 3 from 2, so we'll borrow 1 from the 1, which would be 0. And this 2 would become 12. 12 minus 3 is 9. And 0 minus 0 is 0. So this is 900. Okay, now we go to 17. 17, we have a five-digit number. 10,326 plus a three-digit number, which is 986. No, I'm sorry, 982. Okay, so now we add these values up after lining them up perfectly here. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. Carry a 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 9 is 13. Bring down our 3, carry our 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So this would be 11,308. Okay, now we go to 18. We have a five-digit number minus a three-digit number. So we have 15,890 minus 705. So now we cannot subtract 5 from 0, but we could borrow 1 from the 9 to make it 8. And this 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 0 is 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. And 5 minus 0 is 5. And 1 minus 0 is 1. So it's 15,185. Now we come to problem 19. Problem 19, we have a six-digit number plus a five-digit number. So we have 108,755 minus 22,442. So we have these numbers aligned. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. 7 minus 4 is 3. 8 minus 2 is 6. Now we cannot subtract 2 from 0, so we borrow 1 from this 1, which will make it 0, and the 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So it's 86,313. Now we come here to problem 20. Problem 20, we have a 5-digit number, which is 44,789, minus another 5-digit number, which is 13,890. So 9 minus 0 is 9. We cannot subtract 9 from 8, so this 7 becomes a 6. 8 becomes 18. 18 minus 9 is 9. We cannot subtract 8 from 6, so we borrow 1 from this 4 to make it 3, and this 6 will become 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. 3 minus 3 is 0, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So it'd be 30,899. Okay, so now we move on to part C. It says choose the one best answer to each question. So we look at problem 21. Now problem 21, it says, what is the total weight in pounds of the boxes below? So if you notice here, they said total weight. So with them saying total weight in pounds, that means we add up all of these boxes. So we have a 2-digit number, a 1-digit number, and a 2-digit number. Now, with addition, it is commutative, meaning that it doesn't matter if it's all addition, it doesn't matter the order you add in as far as the numbers are concerned. So what I would do is put all the 2 digits first and the 1-digit number last. So we have 56, 24, plus 8. So now we can add all these values together. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 8 is 18. Carry a 1. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 0 is 8. So it'll be 88. And it's 88 pounds. So our answer here would be B. Okay, now we go to problem 22. It says Celia's share for lunch is $7. If she pays with a $20 bill, how much change should she get? So we know this is subtraction. She has $20 and she spent $7. So we still line these up. We cannot subtract 7 from 0, so we borrow 1 from the 2, and the 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 1 minus 0 is 1. So she will have $13 left, which is C. Okay, now that completes the first portion of lesson 2. Now we go down here to multiplication and division. Now with multiplication and division, it doesn't matter how you line up the problems when you're initially doing them. It still would be nice to have them in a good order to line them up by place value, but it actually really doesn't matter with these except for when you get your final answer. But let's take a look here. We have a couple key words. When you're dealing with multiplication, if you see the word of, the word product, and the word multiply, that's letting you know that you actually are doing multiplication. So, oh, and also the word by, that means multiplication in most cases. Okay, now with division, you will have divide, divided, quotient. Those are key terms that'll let you know that it is division. Or you could say, even say portion of. That'll let you know that you're dealing with division. Okay, now let's take a look here. Okay, if you look here at practice 2-2, we're going to go over the multiplication and division. So let's take a look at problem number 1. We have 121 times 4. I'm going to use this space here, 121 times 4. So we would have, if you notice, I did line these up. You don't have to, but I would suggest that you do because it makes it a lot easier. So I would do 4 times 1 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8, and then 4 times 1 is 4. Now, one thing that I didn't say earlier, and this is the final solution for problem number 1, is that what you will have to do when you're multiplying two numbers together, you will have to take the number in the ones place at the bottom when you're multiplying and multiply by each place value. Then if you had a number in the tens place, you would take the number in the tens place and multiply by each place value and so on. But we will go over that with the next few problems. Okay, so now we go to our next problem, which is problem number 2. Problem number 2, we have 250 times 4. So 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. So we bring down our 0, carry our 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So this would be 1,000 for problem number 2. Okay, now problem number 3. Problem number 3, we had 342 times 8. So 8 times 2 is 16. Bring down your 6, carry your 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33. And then 8 times 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27. So it'd be 2,736 for number 3. Okay, number 4, this is where we start getting into division. Okay, 4, we have 5, and it goes into 65. 5 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1, and you bring down your 5. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. No remainder. So your final answer here is 13. Okay, next, we'll go to problem number 5. Problem number 5, we have 7 into 735. Now, there are a couple key words here that I didn't say in the previous problem. Okay, this number here on the outside of this division bar is considered your divisor. And if you look here in your notes, they have dividend, divisor, quotient. Okay, so this here is your divisor. The 7 is your divisor. This is what you're dividing by. Your dividend is what is to be divided, which would be here, which is the 735. And your quotient is your final answer. Okay, so now we go back to problem number 5. We have 7 into 735. 7 goes into 7 once. So 1 times 7 is 7. That's 0. And then you bring down your 3. You only bring the digits down one at a time. So you subtract, and then you bring down the next place value. 7 goes into 3 0 times. 0 times 7, we know is 0. So that will leave us 3. I could just drop this 0 here because we have this 3. Then we will bring down the 5. 7 goes into 35 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. And you have no remainder. So your final answer here is 105. Okay, next. We have problem number 6. Problem number 6, we have 9 into 189. So 9 goes into 1 0 times. 9 goes into 18 twice. So here when you're writing your answer, it's very important that you line your answer up with the place value. So 2 times 9 is 18. 18 minus 18 is 0. We'll bring down our 9. 9 goes into 9 once. 1 times 9 is 9, and we have 0 left. So our final answer here is 21. Okay, now that's problem number 6. So now we go to problem number 7. So problem number 7, we have 45 times 30. Okay, now with 45 times 30, now we have 2-digit numbers multiplying by each other. So what we do, again, we start with the ones place. 0 times 5 we know is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. So we know that that's just basically 0. Now we go to the tens place. Now I want you to pay close attention to this. When you go to the tens place, you must, when you multiply both of these place values here, your answers will start in the tens place. So that is why we put the 0 in the ones place, signifying that we're starting multiplying from the tens place here. So now we do 3 times 5, which is 15. So we put our 5 here, carry our 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So now we add this. 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 5 is 5, and then basically 0 plus 3 is 3, and 0 plus 1 is 1. So our answer here is 1,350. Okay, problem number 8. We have 105 times 25. Again, we start multiplying from the ones place. So 5 times 5 is 25. Carry your 2. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. And then 5 times 1 is 5. So now we're going to start multiplying here, which is the tens place. So we put our 0 here in the ones place. 2 times 5 is 10. 0, carry our 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So now we add this. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. And 0 plus 2 is 2. So that would be 2,625 for problem number 8. Okay, problem number 9. We have 211 times 16. So now we take 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. Put our 0 here. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 2 is 2. So we add all of this up. This would be 6, 7, 3, 3. So it'd be 3,376. Okay, now we get to problem number 10. Problem 10, we have 10 into 280. Now we have a 2-digit number here. So we know 10 does not go into 2, but 10 goes into 28 twice. 2 times 10 is 20. 28 minus 20 is 8. And bring down our 0. 10 goes into 80 8 times. 8 times 10 is 80. And 80 minus 80 is 0. So your final answer here is 28. Okay, now we go here to problem 11. We have 15 into 225. So 15 goes into 2 0 times. 15 goes into 22 once. 1 times 15 is 15. 22 minus 15 gives us 7, because when we subtract, we know we cannot subtract 5 from 2, so we borrow 1 from this 2, and then this 2 would become 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we'll bring down our 5. 15 goes into 75 5 times. 5 times 15 is 75. There's no remainder. So our final answer here is 15. Okay, now we move on to problem 12. So we have problem 12, which is 19 into 114. We know 19 doesn't go into 1. 19 doesn't go into 11. But now we have to figure out how many times 19 goes into 114. It goes into it 6 times. 6 times 9 is 54. Bring down your 4, carry your 5. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11. So there's no remainder, so our final answer here is 6. Okay, now with 13, we have to, for problems 13 to 21, we have to set this up ourselves. We want it to mirror what we did for problems 1 through 12. We want our problems to look like these. Our multiplication to go vertical and our division to go horizontal with the division bar. Okay, so now let's start with problem 13. Problem 13, we have 50 times 5. So we'll put 50 and we'll line them up according to the place value. Like I said before, when you line it up, you don't have to line it up according to place value, but I would highly recommend that. So 50 times 5, 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. So your final answer here is 250. Now we go to problem 14. We had 179 divided by 4. Now, I'm going to take a little time here. 179 divided by 4. 4 is what you're dividing by. So remember, your divisor, just like 19 was the divisor. As a matter of fact, let's go back to problem 12. Let me show you how these two are related. If I was to rewrite this to look like this division here, you put your dividend first, which is 114. You would change this division bar to this division symbol, and then you will write down your divisor last. So this right here, 114 divided by 19, is how this will be rewritten. So taking this, we would take our divisor, which is 4. We'll change this division symbol to this division bar, and then 179 is our dividend, and we will put it under the division bar. That is how we would do that. Now remember, this was just an example. This problem 12 was already done, but I was showing you this as an example to further explain problem 14. So now we have 4 into 1, which is 0. 4 into 17, which is 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. 17 minus 16 is 1. Then we bring down our 9. 4 goes into 19 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. Then we subtract 19 minus 16, we know is 3. So we have no other numbers to bring down, so this is our remainder. So our final answer here is 44, remainder 3. Okay, now we go here to 15. Now 15 is an interesting problem. I want to write it out. So 15, we have 5 times 6 times 10. Now, with multiplication is like addition. It is commutative. When it's all multiplication, you can multiply in any order and you still will get the same answer. So what I would try and do myself, if I'm doing multiplication, I would try and multiply where I would have my largest number on top as far as the amount of digits times a singular digit if I can. So right here we have 5 times 6 times 10. But since it's all multiplication, we could do 10 times 6. We could do 10 times 6, which is 60. And then 10 times 6 is 60, and then multiply by 5. Because to me, multiplying a two-digit number by a one-digit number is a little easier than trying to multiply two two-digit numbers. So we have 60 times 5. 5 times 0 is 0. And 5 times 6 is 30. So our answer here is 300. Now, I'm not going to go through and show you how both of them are the same, but what I will do in another problem, I'll do it a different way where you have a two-digit number times a two-digit number. Okay, so now for problem 16, we have 1004 divided by 5. So remember, we have the divisor out front, the division bar, and then the dividend under the division bar. So 5 goes into 1 0 times. 5 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 10 we know is 0. We'll bring down this 0. 5 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0. So we add 0, and then we'll bring down our 4. 5 goes into 4 0 times. So we have a remainder of 4. So our final answer is 200, remainder 4. Okay, now we move on to 17. Now 17, we add 25 times 3 times 2. Now in this problem here, we have no way of getting two-digit numbers multiplied by each other. So what I would do the 25 times 2, because we know if we double 25, that's 50. So we would do 50 times 3. And that makes it easier to multiply. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. So we have 150. Now again, you can only multiply like this, like in any order, if it's all multiplication. Now, if there was addition or subtraction sign there, you could not do what I just showed you. It has to be all multiplication. Okay, now 18. Now 18, we just multiply. We have 7,452 times 9. Okay, so 9 times 2 is 18. 8 carry a 1. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 is 46. So we bring down our 6, carry our 4. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 4 is 40. Bring down your 0, carry your 4. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 4 is 67. So it's 67,068. Okay, now we will go to problem 19. 19. So we'll take our dividend, which is 20, divided by our, our divisor is 20, and our dividend is 10,760. Okay, so 20 doesn't go into 1, 20 doesn't go into 10, but 20 does go into 107 5 times. And again, we have to line this up. 5 times 20 is 100. 107 minus 100 is 7. Bring down our 6. 20 goes into 76 3 times. 3 times 20 is 60. So we have 16. We'll bring down our 0. So 20 goes into 160 8 times. 8 times 20 is 160. And you have no remainder. So this is 538. Okay, problem 20. Now we have 12 times 8 times 4. Okay, so now we're going to do this so we can add two-digit numbers times two-digit numbers. So we could do 8 times 4. This is all multiplication. So this would be 12 times 32. Now we could set this up. So we could do 12 times 32. Now I wanted to show you this as well, that you don't necessarily have to have the largest number at the top. can have the larger number on the bottom. But I'm just looking more so at the place value. As long as they have the same amount of digits, it doesn't matter what's on the top, what's on the bottom. It actually doesn't matter if you had a 3-digit number on the bottom and a 2-digit number on the top. It just would be a little bit more work, but you still would get the same answer. Okay, now 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. We'll put our 0 here. 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 1 is 3. So we add these together. So 4 plus 0 is 4, 2 plus 6 is 8, and 3 plus 0 is 3. Okay, now 21. Now, our divisor here would be 12. Our dividend is 144,140. So now we'll do 12. Doesn't go into 1, but it does go into 14 one time. 14 minus 12 is 2. Bring down our 4. 12 goes into 24 twice. 2 times 12 is 24. So 0, we'll bring down our 1. 12 goes into 1 0 times. So we have 1. Now we bring down our 4. 12 goes into 14 one time. 1 times 12 is 12. 14 minus 12 leaves us 2. And then we'll bring down our 0. 12 goes into 20 once. 1 times 12 is 12. 20 minus 12 is 8. And we can show our subtraction. We cannot subtract 2 from 0. So we'll borrow 1 from the 2. And then 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we add 12,011 with the remainder of 8. So our final answer, I'll write it here, equals 12,011, remainder 8. That would be our final answer for this problem. Okay, so that's 21. Now we need to move on to problem 22. So problem 22, we would have, it says a fruit juice container holds 16 servings. If the serving size is 6 ounces, how many ounces does the container hold in all? Okay, so we have 16 servings, and it's 6 ounces per serving. So we'll multiply this by 6, and this will tell us how many ounces does the container hold. So we have 6 times 6 is 36. Bring down a 6, carry our 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. So it's 96, which is D. Okay, now for problem 23 is not showing. See if I could pull up 23. Okay, 23. It says a cashier has 15 $5 bills. How much money does he have? Okay, so we have 15 $5 bills, and we're trying to determine how much money this cashier has. So 5 times 5 is 25. Bring down your 5, carry your 2. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So it'll be $75, which is C. Now last but not least is problem 24. It says how many 2-foot lengths can be cut from the string shown below? Okay, if you notice here, this string below is 12 feet. They want us to cut this into 2-foot lengths. So that means we are doing division here. So for problem 24, we would take, it'll be 12 divided by 2. Okay, well really it's 12 feet divided by 2 feet, but we don't need the feet for our final answer. So 2 is the divisor, 12 is the dividend. So 2 goes into 1 0 times, 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12, and we have 0 remainder. So our answer here would be 6. That it could be cut in. Okay, so we are done with the second lesson. So I will upload this to YouTube and have a wonderful day.